if they know this is real. In the book Beyond the Bedroom for Adult Children, it is sometimes the child who finds or the child who is taken to the girlfriend's house and they watch a movie while the dad is in with the other woman in another room. It is sometimes the child who has been keeping the secret for a year or two when they found something or they were exposed to something that dad or mom was doing that was way out of line. They didn't know what to do, but they knew if they told, it could end the family. Now, this is a unique situation, and I would say it's probably the smaller of situations. As I look over 30 years of different people telling me, most of the kids don't know. But there is a percentage, okay? And I mean factually no. There might be a knowledge that something's wrong or that the family's dysfunctional, yes. But I'm talking factually knowing that dad's looking at porn or mom's looking at porn or mom's cheating or dad's cheating or they've got other infidelity or intimacy anorexia issues. They might know something's wrong, but they won't have a language for it per se. Now, there are those children who know, okay? And that's a different story altogether. So what I'm about to share with you only applies to a child that knows. Now, if a child knows and you've got more than one child, there are chances that all of them are going to know. So you need to know who knows and who doesn't know, because sometimes kids talk amongst themselves, which is normal because they are their own support group, and that's the way it's designed. So they would support each other through their entire life. And they don't always like each other. You know the whole drill with all that. But as this situation pertains, and maybe the little girl is the one who found the pornography or the little boy, okay, now we're talking about, pre-adolescence. Since they don't have the categories to really understand all the dynamics of this, how you want to address that is in very generalized terms. That, let's suppose it's a dad. Dad did look at bad pictures. Bad pictures come through the phone, they come through the internet. And I would say, please block that. Go to drdougweiss.com, porn blocker, block every device you have. Okay, that's just reasonable parenting. But, dad has struggled with bad pictures. If he is working on it, you can be honest about that. He is working on that. He's seeing a counselor, or he's talking to pastor, or he's doing some things to really try to get that out of his life because he was hurt when he was younger, or whatever the story is that can be generalized. Okay? And that younger child is more concerned about your relationship with each other than them. So it's okay if you're working on, say, no, we're working on it. Mommy and daddy love each other and we're trying, if that's true. Now, one thing, never tell your child a flat out lie. If you know that you're probably going to get divorced and you're telling them that you're not, that's going to hurt. If you say, you know what, dad's working on this and we'll see what happens, okay? And we're just going to take this one step at a time. It hurt mommy, hurt daddy, it hurt you. Okay, these kind of things, they are not good. They're bad. They hurt people. And all of us are a little hurt right now. And just tell them what can be true without doing overpromising. Okay, one thing you do not want to do is overpromise your children in a tentative situation. Okay, you might be over hopeful, and that's okay, but do not tell your children over hopeful things until they're factually accurate. That did happen, and you know what? We verified that dad hasn't done that in 6 months or a year by doing a polygraph, and dad is well. He hasn't looked at pictures or done anything inappropriate with other girls for over a certain period of time. Okay, that might be fair to share if that child already knows. Okay, so it's okay to make sure that the child knows it has nothing to do with them. It's not your fault that you found the picture. It's not your fault that you were at that apartment or that you saw, mom kiss another man or dad kiss another girl. That's not your fault. Okay? The parent That's their responsibility. It's not yours. And we are taking care of it as adults. So that will help them not try to parent up for you. In adolescence, they might need to do some counseling. If they're the one who found out, the rage and the hurt and the grief is real. So it's okay for them to do some anger work. It's okay for them to talk to a counselor. It's okay for them to have some of that discussion. Okay. Again, the same principles apply. You don't want to overpromise. They're going to be hurt and angry. Validate that you're hurt. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel your feelings. I want you to talk about your feelings to me, because really the emotional processing is really important for them. If they can do it with you as a mom or a dad, the non-addicted person, that's great, because the addicted person is going to be spiritually, emotionally, morally about 14 years old. So they're not necessarily the best person to process with, because they're about as mature as your adolescent child emotionally. Okay. And so that could be a real challenge. And plus they might have some real strong feelings they don't want to be honest about with that person, but they need to be honest about with somebody. So if they don't feel like that you're the best person, offer them help. Okay. Let them know the progress as it's happening. Okay. Dad is going to group. Dad is being accountable. Dad is trying to work on this. If dad is not trying to work on this, don't lie. Okay, if you don't know where your marriage is going, don't tell them you know where it's going. Say, this has really caused a big issue. We're taking it one day at a time, trying to figure our way out. We're talking to so-and-so about this, and let them just know that, you're trying, but it's one day at a time. And that you'll let them know if there's any major decisions coming, so that they can feel like, oh, I'm going to find out before it happens. Okay, now, with adult children that know, again, they're going to make their own decisions as far as how they want to relate to you. And that might take sometimes months or a year or 2 years to rebuild that relationship. So with adult children, we say go at their pace. If they want to have a light relationship and not get into issues, have a light relationship and don't get into issues. Okay? If they are severely hurt, offer them information on whatever the issue is. If it's sex addiction, the book, The Final Freedom would be helpful, or The 6 Types of Sex Addiction. The other thing that could be helpful, if it's intimacy and anorexia, a book or DVD on that, so they understand what you're talking about. That could be fine to give them information, but don't be their counselor. They're not going to want you as a counselor. They're going to want you as a parent. Now, if there's research, they live in another city, you can say, hey, I did some research here, someone you might want to talk to. Okay, that's fine, offer, but do not push on an adult child. Because too much, you need to do this, is going to sound like you're trying to be their parent, and now they're their own adult. And they didn't cause any of this pain, and so they're going to take it at their own pace. You have to honor the pace of the adult child who already knows. Because sometimes, dad was over at their place and he got on their computer and looked at porn there, or they might have seen him with another woman, okay, or whatever the situation is, and they might have firsthand knowledge. So they're going to have firsthand feelings about that. Let them process it at their own pace. Okay, and you're going to be like, well, we need to talk about it. Yeah, they do need to talk about that, but you may not be the person to talk about that. It's okay to say, hey, how are you doing with that? But if you're doing that every week, you're out of control. Okay, go at the pace with your adult children if they know and what they feel like they want to walk through with you. Okay? Now, the husband, if he's doing recovery, if he's the addict, he will eventually do amends. That's step 9 for a reason. It's not step 1. Okay? So because there is maturing that has to happen. But this one, you might have to give it 1, 2, or 3 years, and you're going to have to be okay with that. So if they know and they're adult children, go at their own pace and let it take its time.